This can be chalked up to a very pointless, glorified prayer than anything else, and nothing yet about Sonic Frontiers has me specifically worried yet, or anxious with the game, picking apart any details that'll have me go, ooh, but this looks particularly not as good as what could have been for this reason, or whatever. How much information we have on Sonic Frontiers now is essentially the same amount we had since the Game Awards last year in December. Nothing came about Sonic Frontiers or any more information or details on the game yet. We're approaching the end of April, they just revealed Sonic Origins, its release date, what the collection entails and whatnot, and I'm sure a lot of us are expecting us to get some new information on Sonic Frontiers sometime in June. E3's canceled this year, but June's usually still that period in time where gaming companies still reveal big information on their upcoming titles. Whether E3, Summer Games Fest, any other gaming events taking place in June, or just a tradition of June being that period of big gaming news. For SEGA and Sonic, June is usually a period where we get some Sonic information, or a little before or a little after. We got that Sonic Central towards the end of May last year, Sonic Origins comes out precisely on Sonic's 31st anniversary this year, and it has been a while since we got details on Frontiers, which is supposedly coming out this year. Like, I doubt there are that many people who object or believe it's not realistic or reasonable to think we're due for Frontiers updates within the next 2 months or so. And again, as far as we know, for the most part, my stance on Frontiers has been the same since December. Cautiously optimistic. I'm hopeful the game will end up being a fun and entertaining experience. It's a very ambitious, large-scale project, especially for Sonic, but it holds a ton of potential. Some of the most out of any Sonic game prior. Everything we've seen so far shows legitimate promise and potential in having a solid structure, a solid foundation for fun gameplay, a fun story, interesting location, etc. Ian Flynn's writing the script, the world itself looks super huge. Like Sonic Frontiers as it stands so far, looks potentially pleasing for both general audiences and Sonic fans alike, especially with the boom in open world games. Zelda Breath of the Wild, Elden Ring, Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, Genshin Impact, Red Dead Redemption 2, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and soon Scarlet and Violet, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. This past generation of consoles, we've seen a larger amount of games and franchises tackle the vast, expansive open-world genre of games, and Sonic is also stepping into that terrain. And assuming all goes well with development, it can serve in both being a fantastic game for Sonic fans and new Sonic fans, while also delivering a different, more unique take on the genre, given Sonic's gameplay philosophy and mechanics. For me, it just depends on how well Sonic's going to control regardless of what his playstyle and moveset will be, and what will there be to do in this world, the Starfall Islands, that'll really sell how strong the game's legs will be in the long run. But beyond that, yeah, Sonic Frontiers looks legitimately promising, and I'm curious to find out more on the game. But a recent anxiety is gradually swelling up within me the closer we get to June and/or the holidays, and we're still a ways off from playing Frontiers. I could go on and on about how Frontiers shows promise, where in which department it could be amazing as someone can easily analyze how the opposite could happen, and we'd be here all day. But this anxious pit deep in my gut is coaxing me to ask in the void that is the internet to a company and development team that have a 99.9999999% chance of not knowing who the hell I am and what value I have in asking this. SEGA, Sonic team, please make sure Sonic Frontiers is a good game. Just make sure the game is fun, polished and such. Make sure it's a game most Sonic fans can call a good Sonic game is basically what I'm trying to highlight right now. It goes without saying, a Sonic fan wants the next new Sonic game to be good. Wow, crazy concept, almost like all of us, or the vast majority of us who both are watching this video, and those who've never even heard of this want Sonic to have a really good game. And most of why I'm gradually getting more anxious about Frontiers is stuff I've mentioned in multiple videos before, but I'm just taking the spare chance to hope and pray for the best and hope maybe it'll come to fruition. Peeping at any of Sonic's other branches in his franchise is why I'm a little worried too. The Sonic 2 movie, that was a fantastic movie, I had a great time with it. The Sonic comics, many attest to being fantastic and entertaining the vast majority of the time, especially with the IDW ones. Earlier back, the Sonic Boom cartoon, the one facet about Sonic Boom that everyone loves and claims to be of a great quality, toys. Like every single other facet of the Sonic franchise has had at least good quality output, and plenty coming out of these and saying they were great experiences. And this is the thing I've said before, the one facet Sonic is struggling to remain consistently good in is in the games. And some made the claim of Sonic being this multimedia franchise now, and as much as I agree, you know what Sonic started out as in terms of franchise and recognition? Video games. What's Sonic's main branch to where most Sonic fans will gravitate and cause a bigger discussion and community around, with or without the live action movies? The video games. And what's the one branch people want Sonic to be good in above most other branches? The video games. Like, yeah, especially after the live action movies, Sonic's expanded to a multimedia brand now, but Sonic's also a gaming series. He's always been, first and foremost, a video game franchise, and I'm really glad how well the comics, the movies, etc. are doing. That shouldn't excuse people wanting the video games to be more consistently good and entertaining, and if a Sonic game's a drop in the bucket. Especially when this is supposed to be Sega's mascot IP, and as often as I could bring up these various Sonic games this past decade, some of these games having varying degrees of development struggles, aspects of said development being prioritized over others, outsourced by different companies, whether directly impacted or involved by Sega, Sonic Team, or if little to none at all, etc. It'd be very redundant at this point for me to do so. Your Manias and your Generations, then your Lost Worlds, your Forces, your Booms, you already get the picture at this point. And we don't know specifics of Frontiers' development yet, we just know it's an open world game that likely began development after Forces, and it's the longest wait we've gone for a new mainline Sonic game ever. I know a ton of people are antsy on Frontiers news because of this. By the time Frontiers comes out, it will have been half an entire decade, 5 years, since Forces. And for a disappointing product that ended up being, most can only hope the development for the next Sonic game can go much better, and the next game is more polished. They used to pump out more Sonic games at a faster rate compared to now, and plenty of them are still games tons of fans like. I can sympathize with that audience who feels they need to know more about Frontiers, and they want this game to be a banger of a Sonic game because of all this, but as much as I am also a little antsy on getting more Frontiers info, Sega, Sonic Team, even though I know for a fact you're not even gonna listen to this or care what I say, if this game ends up needing more time in the oven, more polish, testing, and development resources, I'd be down if this game had to be pushed back a whole extra year. Some would call it sacrilege given how long we're waiting already and such, nor do we know how well Sega and Sonic Team are utilizing their development resources for this game. I'm far past the point where, even with this anxiety and unease, I'm willing to stick it out much longer if it meant this somehow ended up being the best Sonic game ever. That's my stance on the situation. If this gets pushed back to 2023, whether spring, summer, or fall of that year, I'd swallow that pill if it guaranteed Frontiers' quality of being better. It doesn't, but by God does it still increase those odds even by a little bit. And it's also because of how well every other Sonic facet's doing right now. The comics always do well, they're usually consumed by hardcore Sonic fans, but are still well made and beloved regardless. The live action movies, especially the second one, both films performed very well in the box office and are surpassing expectations while also being entertaining and solid films for a ton of people, Sonic and non-Sonic fan alike. All of this is especially true for the Sonic 2 movie. We're getting a Knuckles spin-off series next year for Paramount. Sega got plenty of the Mania developers working on Sonic Origins and creating the definitive experience of Sonic's 1, 2, CD, and 3 in Knuckles, and that comes out in 2 months. The Sonic 3 movie's likely to come out in 2 years or so as well. He's also collaborating with other games. Sonic recently crossed over with Roblox, and people have made an official Sonic world with Sonic moves and mechanics in Roblox, and plenty of people are loving it. We're always getting toys of the blue guy too. Like, Sonic's other branches, projects, and releases are doing spectacularly across the board. And you look at how the gaming branch is the only iffy branch, the main branch that's the only iffy branch that needed to be ironed out. And at least there's Origins adding an extra cushion, being as cool of a collection as it is. The $40, it's something I find questionable, but can stomach in the end. I don't mind it, even if the model itself is not a good practice, but everything else about the collection is great, minus De Novo being used for the PC version. And I'm unsure precisely how well or not so well Colors Ultimate was received. I'm aware of the vast slew of glitches and issues people have with the remaster, and people's reflection of Colors itself as a Sonic game, but I'm sure it at least sold well. But as I've expressed multiple times already, I'm still so hesitant to assume more out of Frontiers based on precedent. Even with how cool Origins is, again, the price model with the different versions spread and different DLC packs and such, confusing and causing bad PR to consumers for Sega. Ubisoft has the same amount of problems when they do it with Assassin's Creed. People hate it when they do it too. People didn't like it when Colors Ultimate had the same thing. third-party projects like Boom Rise of Lyric having promise and potential, then SEGA completely swerved them mid-development to shift the game's specs to operate under completely different hardware, and they had less than a year to get the game running on it too, that price model Colors Ultimate and Origins has. I'm not fully expecting Frontiers to get 2, which would be a bummer depending on how that's going to be executed, if at all, but we still need to see if the story will hold water, how good will that be, how the characters will be written, the gameplay stuff. Again, with Ian Flynn working on the story this time, all I'm really focusing on for the moment is the gameplay portion of Frontiers, and it can easily go belly up for reasons we might not even be privy to. That's the thing. And it really is also because of the movies too that makes me question and worry. The Sonic 2 movie especially, like, both live action movies are performing so well in the box office now, and a ton of people are getting back into and discovering Sonic and his friends and the franchise for the first time from these live action movies. The movies are providing Sonic the most amount of mainstream publicity, period, and positive publicity in a long time. Since I want to say the late 90s to early 2000s, like mainstream, I'm not talking just Sonic fans, gaming fans, I mean just like everyone out there. This is the highest point the mainstream has seen Sonic in a while, and it's not even because of the games. Yet because of this, a ton of people are going to start to keep an eye out for the next game, on top of how much more popular and common open world games are becoming. Like, this is why I said before, Sonic Frontiers is that one Sonic game SEGA and Sonic Team have to get right. More than with Forces and even Mania. They're tapping into a popular market in the gaming landscape, Sonic's obtaining and will continue to foster a bigger market and community from these multimedia projects and new releases coming, all of which are proving to be good and well liked. This is the longest wait Sonic fans are going for a new mainline entry. Like, a lot is riding on Frontiers with all of this. And I really just hope SEGA, Sonic Team, and fans understand this. I don't know how hard of a hit Sonic can take if Frontiers ends up not being that good, with how much fans push and love Sonic and with how much more fans are getting involved in official Sonic projects. It's far from the end of the world if Frontiers is a drop in the bucket, and even then there's reason to suspect it won't be that close to being like a really bad game, right? But if Frontiers ends up being a great game, a fun and good open world game, a good Sonic game that's in the position of potentially attracting its biggest audience ever with a new release across Sonic fans and general and or casual gamers, if Zelda and Pokemon Legends is anything to go off of, that'd be massive for Sonic. That'd be so big for the series, fans, and for SEGA and Sonic Team. I'm just hoping and praying Sonic Frontiers ends up being a great game. Its paranoia swelling up, little by little, again, a pointless, glorified prayer than anything else. It's a want every Sonic fan has, it goes without saying, I'm sure. But man, oh man, I really hope SEGA and Sonic Team know what they're doing with this. They know to use their resources and such as efficiently as they can. If they need more time, at least speaking for me, I'll bite that bullet if they need it, as I'm sure most Sonic fans would bite it too. But this is a game that not only should capitalize on Sonic's growing popularity and mainstream appeal it's booming with right now, it deserves to be a good game based on this and the kind of game it's being built up as. I'm praying and hoping for the best for Frontiers. I have since the start, but really am now. Here's hoping the next look we get shows more promise and assurance. Time will tell. Thank you for watching very much as always, and stay tuned for more Sonic content to come in many forms in the future. Stay super.
Ha!